Hey, everybody. I hope you're doing well tonight. I wanted to jump on here basically just to say hello and see how everybody's doing. And I wanted to tell you a story. I know, shock, right? Um, I want to ask a question. Have you recently or ever heard the voice of God? Maybe not an audible voice, um, maybe a strong impression, maybe a really strong thought. And I'm curious, maybe you can put in the comments if this happens to you often, if it happens occasionally, what makes it easier to hear his voice? What makes it more difficult? Um, I have a short story to tell you. Some time ago, many of you know I was living in St. Louis for about 9 months, 8 or 9 months. A very interesting time in my life. I've had very interesting chapters, shall we say. That was one of them. And while I was there, I lived downtown. It was a beautiful place. I was going to the airport. I think I was going to pick up Stephanie. She was flying in. Maybe the girls were flying in. Um, and as I was leaving my apartment, I had this strong impression. It's the only way I can describe it. It was just an impression to get a cup of water. Well, if you know me, I don't get a cup of water before I leave. Now, my wife will. She does it, and it drives me crazy. She never hardly leaves the house without a cup of water or a water bottle or something, but there's always something there in the center console setting and spilling and splashing. And, well, yeah. But on this particular day, I felt this strong impression. And so I ignored it. I made my way to the door. I got as far as the door, and then it just came back strong, strong. It was a strong impression. I just felt like I was supposed to get a cup of water and take with me to the airport. I wasn't thirsty. It's not a common practice of mine to do that, but I relented and I did it. I went back, and I have a jug sitting on my counter of room temperature water, and then I had some water in the refrigerator for those who, may like cold water. And so, as I was about to pour from the room temperature jug, I had another strong impression: cold. Get the cold water. And I'm like, come on, no, like, what is happening here? So I stopped and I opened the refrigerator door and I put the red Solo cup under the spout, filled it with cold water, left, went down the elevator. It was a long elevator ride, standing there holding the cup of water, shaking my head, get in the car. And then I think I was heading down Broadway, just past the old courthouse, about 3 stoplights. I got caught at a red light. So I was sitting there kind of daydreaming, and a tall, thin, homeless person knocked on my window. And I tried the best I could with sign language and mouthing the words, "I don't have money. Sorry." I cracked the window. I told him, "Look, I haven't had cash since 1989." And what he said, well, it forever changed me. He said, "I don't want your money. I'm thirsty. Do you have anything to drink?" And I said, "Actually, I do. I do." And he said, "What is it?" And I said, "It's water." And he said, "Is it cold?" And I said, it is. And so I, with a trembling hand, reached over and got the red Solo cup full of cold water and handed it to him through my window. The light changed. As I was pulling off, he gave me one of the sincerest thank yous I'd ever heard. And I looked in my rearview mirror, and in the intersection, Broadway and something, downtown St. Louis, stood a man that God cared for enough to bring a cold cup of water. I still see him in my mind, head back, arm extended, the cup tilted, enjoying that cup of water. Does God love us that much? Even those that are not truly maybe where they should be. Who knows what kind of night that guy had? But I had a red cup full of cold water because I listened to an impression. And I wonder tonight what we're missing out on. What kind of opportunities are out there if we would just be sensitive and listen to that small, still voice? Anyway, I hope that bless you, and I'll talk to you soon.